All right, Acts chapter 27, and this is going to be pretty fun because Paul is going to set sail for Rome. It says when the time came, we set sail for Italy. Remember, this isn't like a nice little tour. This is because he's a prisoner and he's going to go stand trial before Caesar. So Paul and several other prisoners were placed in the custody of a Roman officer named Julius, captain of the imperial regiment, and off they went. And so we're going to break out the map here. You can read along with this, but for you visual learners out there, here's kind of their course that they charted. So they leave Caesarea. There's Jerusalem down there. So they leave Caesarea. They go to Sidon first. Then they go up over around Cyprus, and they come to here. And then they come over here. And then they come down right in here by Fair Havens. Let's go back to the passage now and take a look at where we are there. So it says, Paul says right around there, he says, "Men, I believe there's trouble ahead if we go on, shipwreck, loss of cargo, and danger to our lives as well." But the officer in charge of the prisoners listened more to the ship's captain and the owner than to Paul. And since Fair Havens was an exposed harbor, a poor place to spend the winter, most of the crew wanted to go up onto Phoenix, farther up the coast of Crete, and spend the winter there. Okay, so here they're right around here, and Paul says, "Hey guys, it's going to be trouble if we keep going. We should stop here." But because it was exposed, they wanted to go up here to Phoenix. But as you read on, you'll see that they started to go out, and they got caught in some winds, and that's going to drive them over here. They're afraid of coming into the sea banks here of Sirtis, which is in Africa, off the coast of Africa. And so they're going to be, for days now, they're going to be driven across the sea here. And let's go back to the chapter and see what happens. There's this storm, and it blows them, and they're sailing through, and they're really all starting to wig out here. And again, I'll let you read this for yourself. But look what Paul says in verse 22. "Take courage. None of you will lose your lives, even though the ship will go down. For last night an angel of the God to whom I belong and whom I serve stood beside me, and he said, 'Don't be afraid, Paul, for you will surely stand trial before Caesar. What's more, God in his goodness has granted safety to everyone sailing with you. So take courage,' Paul says, 'for I believe God. It will be just as he said. But we will be shipwrecked on an island,' he says." And so sure enough, they get shipwrecked on the 14th night of the storm. They get shipwrecked, and you can read that again, the details of that shipwreck. And they don't really know where they are. At the end of this chapter, it doesn't say where they are. But it turns out that they are here at Malta. We'll see that in the opening verses of the next chapter. So they go from here for 2 weeks. They get just driven by the storm all the way over here to Malta. So at least they're heading in the right direction. And it says that while they were there, the soldiers wanted to kill the prisoners to make sure they didn't swim ashore and escape. But the commanding officer wanted to spare Paul, so he didn't let them carry out their plan. And then he ordered all who could swim to jump overboard first and make for land. And so they did. And now you can read the interesting chapter of Acts 27, and we'll see you tomorrow for chapter 28, which is the last chapter in this great book of Acts.